If you've been keeping an eye on the fitness industry over the last few years, then you might have noticed some interesting changes in attitude. Whereas fitness was once all about exercise machines, supplements, and low fat diets, today we're starting to go back to our roots. Basically, we've found that these high tech methods of losing weight, improving health, and getting fitter just don't work as well as they should. And really, this comes down to one simple truth: we can't do better than nature. Today, health bloggers and thought leaders in the industry are preaching from a different book. Now we're being told to get outside more, to get sunlight, to swim in the cold water, to eat a balanced natural diet, and to train using our bodies and our environments. And guess what? For the most part, it's working. 99% of our health problems exist as a direct result of our modern lifestyles. That means processed foods that don't contain any nutrition. It means sitting at desks for 8 hours every day. It means constant chronic stress. And it means trying to cure everything with pills. The solution isn't to add more unhealthy supplements or to create foods with no sustenance. The solution is to take a step backwards and to look to the environment in which we first evolved. Experts agree that diabetes likely didn't exist, or at least was incredibly rare, only a few hundred years ago. Obesity is higher than it's ever been. We're living longer, but our quality of life is taking a hit. It seems we lost something important along the way. Time to go back to basics and get our health back. The previous statements are going to make an awful lot of sense to some people, while others might need a bit more convincing. Is the answer really as simple as not eating cake? Can it really make that much difference whether you get your nutrition from an apple or from a multivitamin? The answer is a resounding yes, and it will affect more areas of your life than you can probably predict. And the reason for this comes down to evolutionary biology. You probably have some basic idea of evolution, but to bring you fully up to speed, let's take a closer look at how it impacts with health. Evolution comes down to natural selection. That is to say that the animals that survive are able to procreate and those that don't aren't. Thus, the DNA of the surviving animals gets passed on and is iterated upon, whereas the failed changes and mutations fall out of the running. Over time, small mutations, individuals, and epigenetics, more on this later, lead to species-wide changes. All of the traits that we possess as a species, therefore, exist because they were found to be the optimal traits that would help us to survive and thrive in our environments. That applies to our appearance, to our physical capabilities, even our psychology. Evolutionary psychology is an entire school of psychology that seeks to explain our behavior by looking at how it might have been selected for during our evolution. Altruism, for example, is adaptive because it allows us to ingratiate ourselves with groups and because it allows us to better survive as a group. Anger is adaptive because it helps us to protect our food sources, territory, and social rank. So far, so high school science. We're going to go a lot deeper into the interplay between evolution and biology later on, but for now, this is enough of a foundation to ensure that you're able to follow the rest of what we're going to be looking at. But now we need to think about the implications this has on our health. And we need to start thinking about this the right way. Some people will casually assume that natural foods are good for us because they've somehow been designed for us. This is incorrect. The reality is that our bodies are designed for those foods. We adapted to thrive on foods we had available during our evolution because that's what there was available. We're designed to eat lots of fruits and vegetables, to eat lots of meat, and to thrive on regular activity. This took millions of years. But if you take us out of that environment, then we're forced to make do with things we were never designed for. We've been removed from our natural environment, and as such, we cannot thrive. Think of it like taking a goldfish and putting it in the desert. Hardly optimal, and it's unlikely the goldfish is going to be able to thrive. Or perhaps think of it like trying to drive a hatchback off-road. It simply isn't designed to work under those conditions. It might still work, and it might still be able to drive, but it's not going to be as fast, as powerful, or as healthy. That's the situation you're in right now. And that's why we need to go back to basics, and that's why we need to try and change our environment to be a little closer to the way that we used to live. Before we go any further, though, I want to get something out of the way. This is not about the paleo diet. Yes, we will be exploring the paleo diet, and this is one of the biggest and most popular aspects of primal living. At the same time, though, it's also not the answer to everything. Paleo is only one part of going primal, and you also need to think about many other things, such as the way that you're going to exercise and the exposure that you're getting to light and fresh air. Moreover, the paleo diet may also prove to be something of a modern fad in itself. The danger with the paleo diet is that we may be throwing out the baby with the bathwater. We'll explore this in a little more detail later on in the series, but suffice to say that primal living and going back to your roots doesn't necessarily mean that you have to give up milk and bread. You don't even necessarily have to give up multivitamins and supplements. We'll learn a lot more later on, but things are going to get pretty interesting, and this isn't just a video series promoting a diet that happens to be popular right now.